Yes, people, what's happening? Welcome back to Chelsea Fan TV and welcome to a new series of the Chelsea Fan TV podcast. First things first, guys, make sure you smash the like, subscribe if you're new around here, and as always, leave your thoughts in the comments below. And a couple of weeks of pre-season under the belt, the lads heading off to America for the pre-season tour, 5 matches beginning with Wrexham next week. And it feels like the new season, the preparations are really starting to begin now. So there's plenty to dive into in this episode. Obviously, we've got the Enzo Fernandez situation to discuss, transfers, pre-season, expectations, loads and loads to dive into. Delighted to be joined by Kev, mate. Great to have you on board for another episode. Mate, how are you feeling about Chelsea right now? Obviously, it's been quite a big break. There's about a month or so until the season begins now. Sort of how are you feeling as we head into the new campaign? Because there's a lot of expectation on this season. We need to get back into Champions League football and whatnot, and ideally win some trophies. But yeah, how do you view the situation at the club right now? We've obviously made 6 signings, new coaches in. We've got a couple of weeks training under our belt. How are you feeling about Chelsea as we head into this pre-season tour?
Yeah. So first of all, glad to be back. It's been a little bit of a break. I've been really bored about it, but we're back into it now. It's going to be a very long season. Europa Conference League. And we've also got a lot of drama already. Without the season started, we've got the Enzo Fernandez situation, which we'll go into after. But about the season, when we talked on your actual channel, we talked about transfers, ins and outs. And I expected experience, a bit more experience in the squad to help the youngsters. When we got rid of Pochettino, I expected an experienced manager. But listen, we are far away from that model. Listen, a lot of us are still dwelling on the Roman Abramovich era. It's clear to see now we are far away from that. So what we need to do now is let go of our memories of Roman Abramovich. Obviously, we love him, it's gone. This is a new era. Obviously, I want us to just progress on the pitch more than anything. The most important thing this season for me is the medical staff, how the players. We don't want 14 injuries in one goal. So can we get the right medical staff in? That's the most important thing than any signings, I think. I believe that the new manager that we got, he seems to be very enthusiastic. I've seen videos of him on the training ground. We've never seen Pochettino 1, 2, this and that. He's very enthusiastic. I've seen a clip of him talking to Nani Madueke. 1 touch, too much. So you can see that he's got a philosophy. So on the field, I want to see more. I want to see a philosophy. I want to see styles of play, patterns of play. Last season, we never seen it. We never seen defensive discipline. There's a lot of stuff that we've never seen. But my expectations for this season, I believe top 6 would be a good expectation. The signings that we've made, like I said, no experience. It's future. We're going for players with high potential. That's it. So we can't expect much, really. They're going to have to adapt to being at Chelsea for one. They're going to have to adapt to playing for such a big club and being like a lot of players that striker Barcelona's come in, so he's going to have to adapt to the Premier League. We can't really have high expectations. It's just, can we see better medical treatment for the players, and can we see better stuff on the pitch? And I'll be happy at the end of the season.
No, yeah, for sure. Look, I think that the aim's got to be the Champions League. Whether we get that or not, we will obviously find out in due course. But that's got to be the aim. You know, we can't start going a third year without it. The more years you go without it, then the players that have signed on these long-term contracts are going to start thinking, well, hang on a second, this is not what I didn't sign up for this. This is not what you said was going to be the situation. So we've got to get back into that Champions League whatever way possible. I think we've got the squad to do it. The quality's there to do it. The quality was there to do it last year. We just lacked consistency. Now, the big key is, can we find consistency this season? That's the big question. We've got the quality, we've got the players. And as you touched on, we'll get into the signings, but more important than any signings for me is keeping the players fit this season. If we can get a Reece James fit for 3/4 of the season, I mean, a fully fit Nkunku for the majority of the season, fully fit Lavia, fully fit Wesley Fofana, adding these guys into the mix, for me, is going to make more of a difference than, say, bringing in kind of an average-ish striker or a winger that we perhaps don't really need. That, for me, is going to be more important and more fundamental than making any further new signings. Let's dive into the signings, though. Obviously, for me personally, look, I think people have got used to the last sort of 3 or 4 windows where it's kind of been big spending, loads of players coming in. You know, you get excited. That was never going to be a sustainable way of operating. Not every window is going to be like that. And I think now we're at a situation where we're in what has been described as like the 4th window of a 4-window plan, and maybe people are expecting a little bit more from it. Obviously, there is still a month or so of the window to go, so things can change. But right now, as we're discussing it, I feel it's a little bit underwhelming. I think Tosin could be a good signing. You know, makes sense from a business perspective. Free transfer, Premier League experience, some leadership qualities, and add some much needed height to the back line, which should hopefully help in both boxes for set plays. Mark Guihu from Barcelona, complete unknown. That's just another opportunity in the market. You don't know what you're going to get from that. Renato Vega, another opportunity. No idea what you're going to get from him. Amari Kellyman was obviously one of them PSR transfers with Villa. I doubt he plays this season. Dewsbury Hall is the one where I think, actually, do you know what? That I don't mind that so much. I mean, I wouldn't have said it was a necessity because we've got a lot of options in midfield, but at least he's someone that actually knows the manager and he knows the system. Like, I'm much more on board with us signing players that suit the system rather than just signing a name. But what have you made of the business so far? I mean, because no disrespect to these lads, because actually some of them could turn out to be good, and we might. Look, I'm more than happy to hold my hands up and say I was wrong if these lads turn out to be decent for us. But on the face of it, it doesn't look like that many of the signings we've made are actually going to improve the starting 11. I think, you know, your Tosins and your Dewsbury Halls add squad depth, add good options for starting some Premier League games, but Conference League cup matches and whatnot. But in terms of out-and-out improvements in the first 11, I mean, what have you made of the business so far? I just think it's a little bit underwhelming.
I don't know anything about these players, Charlie. I'm just going to be honest. I've had to literally YouTube them to see how they play. And okay, a lot of them have got potential, but it's different. They're playing in different leagues. They're playing under 20. A lot of them have just come from under 21s. They've had 1 or 2 seasons at a professional team. So you come into Chelsea Football Club, there's a lot of pressure. Can they mix in? It's going to be hard work for them. I believe the Dewsbury Hall signing, when we played Leicester at the Bridge, I went to the game, and he was really good. I was like, who's that guy running? Very good ball carrier, running through the middle, very energetic. And I believe you have to have, in the midfield, you have to have a player that sits, okay, Caicedo. You have to have a player like Enzo who can ping the balls, and you need a ball carrier. So he could fit into the system. Obviously, Maresca knows him very well from his time at Leicester. He's not going to bring in a player that he believes that's going to do a job. Like I said, we've seen him at Leicester at the Beach. He's done well, so hopefully he comes in. But that's probably the only player I can say that we've signed that I know about. Very underwhelming, like you said. So what I said to when we had done a pod, I want experience. We're not going to get experience. So that's it. We need to just like Olympic kind of thing. And unfortunate for us, Thiago Silva's gone. That's another leader that's gone from the back. Have we replaced Thiago Silva's leadership? No, we haven't. So we're looking. Conor Gallagher, is he still good? Is he going to start? Where's the leadership? Reece James, is he going to be fit? We lack leadership, and it's gonna literally hurt us at some point in the season. No leadership. You need someone at the back like Thiago Silva, pulling players around. Who's going to do the job? So yeah, the board know better than us, but hopefully it works, because at the end of the day, a lot of fans are losing patience with the model. I'm just kind of like in the mindset that it is what it is. You know, Rowan above him, his days have gone. Signing Balaks and Makalele's and top class players around the world. We're just signing youth players with high potential and just going to sell them on. That's the model now. So we have to just get on with it, Charlie.
Yeah, no, I hear you on that. I think some of these signings could be good, but I mean, yeah, look, what I think what this business says to me in this window is that we're very much operating on market opportunities, because you look at Tosin was a free. Guy was literally 5 million quid release clause opportunity. Kellyman was a PSR transfer, so like we kind of discard that. Dewsbury Hall, I think, was a bit of an opportunity as well. 30 million quid is actually probably below market value for him, with the way that the window is these days. And then you're looking at, I mean, I can't remember who else we signed now, but most of them are opportunistic. Vega, an opportunity,
Vega,
11 million quid. You know, what I would say is that it's almost win-win with these transfers, because you've bought them at a low enough price where even if they don't particularly work out that well, you're not going to make a loss on them. You're not going to make a loss on 5 million on Guy. You're not going to make a loss on 11 million on Vega. You're not going to make a loss on a free transfer on Tosin. Do you know what I mean? So, like, from a business perspective, the sort of, you know, they've got what they've wanted in terms of all the signings so far. There is that resale value there which they want. And that's all well and good, but ultimately, when we're looking at trying to progress this team forwards, there's one position which every Chelsea fan knew needed to be addressed, which is a striker, and that hasn't yet happened. And I don't believe that's going to happen until after pre-season, when Maresca's looked at, obviously, Gihu in the number 9 role, and he's looked at Nkunku in that 9 role. Could he maybe fill it? And I'm almost at the point now of the strikers, and look, the market's not great. I think let's be fair on that point. The striker market is not particularly good. Do I look at an Osimhen as good value for money with the release clause and the wages? Perhaps not.
But Charlie, look at this situation we're in now. Like, smart business. Lukaku, Conte is at Napoli. Lukaku wants to go to Napoli. Osimhen wants out. Where's the business mind there? We should be trying to do some kind of deal with Napoli. But obviously, the board are not ambitious enough. They don't want to go for these top-class strikers. If we did want to do it, we'd have already done it already. So for me,
I don't think Osimhen don't fit what we're looking to do. Clearly, I think if they were set on him and they wanted him, that there's a deal there to be done. I'm just not sure if they look at him as what we're looking for. But in terms of the strikers in general, I'm almost at the point now where I'd rather just stick with Jackson, Gihu, and Nkunku rather than sign. I know the links to Duran have gone very cold. Omarodion is another one that's been touted. That's cooled a lot as well, and as has Jonathan David. Now, unless they've got, you know, a bit of a surprise up their sleeve, like with the Renato Vega deal, where there was just no links in the media at all and it just appeared, unless they've got a situation like that up their sleeve, which is possible, I'm looking at the options in the market and I'm thinking,
not many.
There's not many. These aren't great. And if I had a choice right now between, like, you know, your Davids or an Omarodion or a Duran or whatever, I'll be going Jonathan David, because he's going to cost you. He's got 1 year left on his contract. It's going to cost you less than 30 million quid. He's 24. He's got European experience. He's played Champions League football, and he's a good finisher. Is he better than Nicholas Jackson at finishing? Yes, he is. All-round play, probably not, but it's a profile that could perhaps help us.
Done really well at Canada as well. They got to the semi-finals of the Copa America.
Yeah, he's done well. So if I was looking at it now, I'd be looking at bringing in David, but I don't see. I'll be honest, mate. I don't see a striker coming in at this point.
Not right now. I think pre-season will give Enzo Maresca more of an idea of what he needs, and I think Jackson last season wasn't too bad. You've got to think of his numbers last year. Not too bad.
Mate, he's a 20-goal a season striker. If his finishing improves, mate, he could have scored 20 Premier League goals easily last season.
There you go. So can he progress to being that 20-goal? I think the potential is there, but I think we've got to give him a chance. I think that this season is very important to see where he's at. Maybe wait till January, see what he's done then, and then if he's not hit the numbers that we were expecting from him, go and sign another striker. But it's very difficult. I don't think they've got any. We want a goalkeeper. It's been mentioned, another goalkeeper. Apparently, we want to get rid of what's his name?
Not Petrovic.
Petrovic, sorry. Yeah, we want to get rid of Petrovic. It's been that long, I'm forgetting the player's name. Sorry about that. Yeah, so Petrovic's meant to be getting shipped out. Sanchez and another keeper. But there's no news at all that we're going to get another striker. And for me personally, it's hard to take, because we all know what we need. We all knew from 2 seasons ago we needed Tony, Osimhen, and Vlahovic, someone of that ilk that could come in and achieve 20 goals. And Jackson was not far from it. But like you said to me a minute ago, if he can step up and improve his finishing, maybe gets to those numbers, but only time will tell. So we're taking a risk with Jackson, but what can we do? There's no other strikers in the market.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't got a problem with assessing your options in pre-season and then deciding. The only downside with that is that if you decide after pre-season you do want to get another striker or you do need more players, those players have missed the entire pre-season under the new manager, which is really important, specifically with a new man. I'm not saying it's a complete disaster.
Cole Palmer did. Cole Palmer missed the
Yeah,
whole
but you're
year.
starting on the back foot. So these guys that are probably going to have done pre-seasons at their current clubs, playing in probably a completely different way with a different manager, are then going to come in and have to, integrate into a side, new manager, learn new things. That's the downside to it. But look, I do agree that I actually think the best solution right now, assess the options and then go from there and see. Because there's no point just bringing someone in for the sake of it. That is one thing I would say. And in slight defense to the directors, the people in charge and whatnot, the market isn't that great. So look, we can obviously be frustrated with the fact that, a striker hasn't come in yet. But I look at the market and think there's not an obvious one out there that you think, yeah, that's very attainable and that's going to make a big difference. In terms of obviously outgoings, that's been a little bit slower. There's a number of players that obviously we're looking to move on. We know that Martson's gone. We know that obviously Amari Hutchinson's gone. Lukaku is we're just waiting for Osimhen to join PSG. I think then he will join Napoli. I don't think that's too much to worry about. But the likes of, Gallagher's future's not sorted. Chalobah, they supposedly want to get rid of, but there's been nothing sort of advancing on a potential departure for him. Looking at players like Amanda Broja, Kepa's not gone yet. There's a lot of outgoings that still need to take place. But let's start with this goalkeeping situation. What do you make of the keeping situation? Because obviously, we signed 2 goalkeepers last summer in Sanchez and Petrovic, both on long-term contracts, and it appears 12 months later that actually neither of them are suited to the way that Maresca wants to play. Now, Sanchez is clearly perhaps better suited to Maresca's style of football than Petrovic is, but Petrovic is more than good enough to be a number 2. Like, I'm not saying he should be. The reality here is that Sanchez or Petrovic shouldn't be starting in a Maresca-based team, in my opinion. But then it goes back to you've allowed a goalkeeping coach essentially to pick Sanchez as a player to sign. And then you've signed Petrovic with kind of Pochettino in mind. And now you're in a situation where actually you've got who you supposedly want in charge, and you've got 2 goalkeepers on massive contracts that actually you don't want either of them because neither of them fit what you're looking to do. I mean, what do you make of the goalkeeping situation? Because for me, I look at it and Petrovic could well end up leaving purely based on the fact is there's going to be a market for him, whereas there's no market for Sanchez whatsoever.
Yeah, Sanchez, to be fair, his playing at the back last year was abysmal. We went to the Man United game and he gave the ball away.
Terrible.
Yeah. So only game time will tell. Okay, in training it's totally different. Enzo Maresca's already had training sessions. So against Wrexham, the first game next week, and we'll see how the goalkeeper set up. I think he wants a ball-playing goalkeeper, simple as that. And if he wants that, give him that. If it suits his system, he wants that. Obviously, he wants his centre-backs pushed up and he wants basically the goalkeeper playing in the middle of them. That's the way he wants to set up. So Sanchez, bit of a recipe disaster. Petrovic wasn't the best player at the back. So if it means moving one on and he brings someone into City system, he has to do it. At the end of the day, the manager knows what's best for him. But I'm sure he's not going to be too keen to move players on without giving them game time. Wait for the couple games, see how they're settling. And if the mistakes are occurring like last season, one of them has to go because his team and his players have to suit his system. Simple as that. So unfortunately for Petrovic, I think the end of last season, he was brilliant. Some of the stuff he was putting off, he looked really confident. When he first came in, he wasn't so confident, but towards the end of the season, he was number 1. Sanchez didn't even get a look in, so a bit unfortunate for him, but that's the way it goes sometimes. The players have to suit the manager's system.
Yeah, and I think at this point, regardless of what you've done in the past, if Maresca's your guy, and like they say he is, you've given him the long-term contract to reflect how important you think he's going to be for the football club going forward. If he says that he needs a new goalkeeper to suit his style of play, then you need to go and get him a new goalkeeper. Whether we agree or disagree is irrelevant. You back the decisions that you make. And if you've made a decision that Maresca's the guy, go and get him what he needs to make his team a success. Now, I'm not saying that, Sanchez could surprise us. He could improve and he could, take to Maresca's way of playing, and it could be a big surprise. But I think if we're being totally honest, if there was a market for Robert Sanchez and there were takers, Chelsea would have sold him by now. They would have done. But there's no market for him. And I think Petrovic, unfortunately, is going to end up being the fall guy here, purely because there's going to be more suitors for him and more takers. I mean, I was surprised when I heard the news that they'd already offered him out to a club in Italy. I think it was Genoa. They'd already offered him out. It's a bit of a mess, really. But I just think what we're trying to do here is not come across desperate in terms of the briefings that have been coming out. Sanchez is going to start number one. Maresca really likes Sanchez. I think we're just trying to drum up some interest in him, try and create a market for him. And now people know that we're looking for a goalkeeper, and that price is going to go up, because I'm not saying we're in a desperate situation, but they're going to take advantage of the fact that they know that we need a keeper. So, I mean, I don't even know what keepers realistically are out there that are going to make. It's going to be one of them where we're not going to spend big money on a goalkeeper. So people talking about, a Diogo Costa, the Portugal keeper, that would be fantastic. But I don't think we're looking at dropping 50, 60 million pounds on a goalkeeper. I don't see that happening.
I think a reasonable signing, okay, done well at the Euros. Pickford, I think he's got a good distribution. He's English. He knows the lads. Wouldn't be too much, probably 30, 40 million. Obviously, if the bid coming for him, he'd probably be interested in signing. It's a win-win. So someone like that. But like you said, I don't know any ball-playing goalkeepers. Like, obviously, you've got your Allisons and you've got your Edisons from City. But like I said, you get rid of one, but who are you going to bring in? So they know more than us. They know who they're going to bring in. Hopefully, it suits Maresca's system. So we're not seeing the calamities from last season with Sanchez. If he wants to play at the back, I don't think Sanchez is the guy, because he's shown us too many times against Arsenal when Declan Rice scored the goal. There's about 5 or 6 times where he's tried to play at the back and he's given it to the opposition. So only time will tell. Hopefully the keepers do improve and step up. But at the end of the day, ultimately, it's down to Enzo Maresca to make the decision.
It's his decision making, isn't it? For me, with Sanchez, look, that can improve, but like whenever I was at games last season with Sanchez playing, there was like such a nervousness in the crowd, such a nervousness in the defense. Decision making, A, is not good, and B, takes far too long in dangerous areas of the pitch to decide what to do with it. So those are things that need to improve. I mean, I've got no idea what goalkeeper it could be. Literally could be anyone. I suspect it will be someone we probably don't know an awful lot about. Someone that obviously maybe ticks a lot of the metrics in the data that they're looking at. But yeah, look, maybe Sanchez probably will start the season as number one. But I think whoever this new goalkeeper is that comes in, they'll be number one by Christmas, or certainly before the end of the season. But Sanchez won't see the season out as the number one. That's for sure. But yeah, the goalkeeping situation is just a bit of a mess now, really. Only Chelsea could sign 2 keepers last summer on a 7-year contract and then decide that neither of them are actually good enough for what we want to do. But
potentially we've still got Kepa coming back as well. So
Kepa's going to go. I don't know where he's going to go, but
Saudi Arabia, apparently their team's coming from over there.
Yeah, but I think that they've pulled out of now. I think he basically wants to wait for Real Madrid, but Real Madrid obviously They need to get rid of Lunin first.
So we've been linked to him as well. Lunin,
we were linked with him. I mean, look, there's going to be all sorts of names doing the rounds, but yeah, it's a shame, really, isn't it? In terms of, I think Petrovic is a decent keeper. Is he a number one for Chelsea under Maresca? No, probably not, because I just think he plays too many long balls. He's not good enough for the ball at his feet. Of course, that could develop, but I think Maresca wants someone that's already ready to do that. So we'll have to wait and see what happens on that front. I mean, in terms of the preseason tour itself, we've got 5 games coming up. Wrexham, first one next week. We've got Wrexham, Club America, Celtic, Man City, and Real Madrid, I think. What are your expectations from this preseason? I think for me, keep everyone fit, patterns of play and identity, and yeah, I think for me, those are the things that I'm looking for. What are you expecting from this? I mean, obviously results are great, but I'd rather see patterns of play, clear style.
Stability. Last season, we didn't have an identity. We didn't know if we were a player at the back team. We didn't know if we were counter. There was no identity. And the thing is, the thing that strikes me with Enzo Maresca is very, very systematic. The way he plays, the players are always in position. a bit like Guardiola. Last season, on a couple of occasions, we had Conor Gallagher and Mudryk in the same position. I don't think that'll be this. I think the players will be regimented in their positions. I just want to see some fluency. I want to see the players pattern the play. More important than anything, though, defensive structure, set plays. We were awful last year on set plays. There was no discipline. For the Van Dijk's goal in the Carling Cup, we had one of the smallest players marking him. Like, I want to see the manager saying, it's a bit of discipline. You mark him, and everything comes together. Like a bit of organisation. That's what we never had. So my expectation is organisation, just a bit of stability with the line-up, players picking up the right positions on the pitch. And from when we see that, and we see that the players are listening and buying into a system, obviously Maresca, but like I said, from what I've seen of his videos, he wants the players to play 1-2s, and I want to see some kind of formula. With Pochettino last year, we never seen that. It was all over the place. I think the last 6 games we started to see some kind of formula come together, but it shouldn't take up until the last 6 games to start seeing stuff. And we were still awful on set plays. I think Nottingham Forest away, did he go to it?
Yeah.
When I scored up a header, he was marking him. And stuff like this comes down to the manager. You should be doing your homework. You know he's a danger in the box. You should be saying, you get him, you get him, you get him. That's basic management, and I don't think Pochettino done it. So if Enzo Maresca could show me that he's organised, that'd be happy for me, and that'll give me a bit of confidence going into next season.
I think what I'm looking forward to is seeing like what impact this set piece coach is going to have had. Obviously, he's in now from Brentford doing the work. I'm not saying we're going to see necessarily any major differences in pre-season, but I'm looking forward to seeing what effects his work's going to have had on things, because that's an area at both ends of the pitch that we've been poor at. Organisation, yeah. Because every time the ball was going in the box last season, you felt like we were going to concede. Whether it was a set piece, whether it was just a cross into the box, we looked very susceptible to.
Wasn't reacting to stuff, danger. Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to seeing what sort of work he's done. And what sort of difference
because of those commodities last year with the set plays, cost us the Carling Cup, probably cost us the Champions League spot, because think about it, we lost points against Sheffield, Burnley, Brentford, through crosses in the box. If you get your set plays on point and you do your homework and you're organised, that can be the difference between you getting a draw and a win. And it was obvious to see where we was very poor at playing at the back last year with Sanchez. That wasn't very good. We kept on continuing to do it, making the same mistakes. And like you said, every time that ball come into the box, we wasn't reacting. Sheffield United away, I think you went to the game as well, Charlie. Yeah. Ball came into the box. Not one player reacted. 1, 2, 3. Everyone was standing still. So you need someone. You need a coach that's going to say, you pick up him, you pick up him, you pick up him. Organisation. And obviously, with this new set player coach, hopefully we start seeing it, because at the end of the day, like I said, it can cost you titles, it can cost you points just through not being organised. So I just want to see the basics in place.
No, absolutely. I mean, we're playing some decent opposition as well, which should stand us in good stead for the season ahead. Obviously Wrexham aren't that great, but you're playing Club America, you're playing Celtic, Real Madrid, Man City. This is good levels of opposition. Man City will be an interesting one, considering we're playing them probably a couple of weeks after we face them in pre-season as well. Obviously, it'll be different teams and stuff, but that'll be an interesting gauge of kind of seeing where we're at. I mean, what players are you looking forward to seeing in pre-season? I mean, obviously the new signings, I'm interested to see what Dewsbury Hall can do, but I think the injured lads as well, I'm looking forward to seeing what Nkunku can do, what Lavia's about, what Reece James is about for
Fana. James.
Yeah.
A lot of players. Literally, we've got about... Listen, we had, towards the end of the season, we had 14 injuries at the same time. I think it was really out of way.
Oh, and Spurs home. It was that week,
14 players. So, literally, I can see why they haven't made a lot of signings, because we've literally got a full squad coming back for injuries, which is embarrassing to say. But obviously, with your question, Cole Palmer, that guy is something special, and him again. He's played under Enzo Maresca at City under 21s, so he's going to know him in and out. He could be the difference. Like I said, I still believe if you had someone with him that's going to get 20 goals as well, that could be the difference between you finishing 6th and finishing 4th. Just the extra boost for Cole Palmer. I want to see the guy shining again. It doesn't look like he's going to take his foot off the gas, like he scored in the final. He's so humble. Like he scored in the European Cup final. It's just like he doesn't. I don't think he understands how high his potential is. So Cole Palmer, Lavia, be interested to see Cucurella as well, as such a good Euros. He's literally come back from the dead. Like, we literally writ him off. This time, I think it was a January transfer window. I was saying get him gone, and he's literally come back from his injury, and he's probably one of the best left backs in the world, the best left back in the Euros by a long shot. So we're good to see these players come back in. It's no injuries, please, no injuries, and let's see where we get end of the season.
Yeah, I mean, how much of it's a problem. Obviously, Cucurella's won the Euros, Palmer, Gallagher, etc. Those guys are obviously not going to be part of the tour because of they're now having their break because of how far they've gone. How much of a problem do you think that is that the likes of Cucurella, Palmer, Gallagher, etc. aren't going to be part of the tour? In terms of results, it doesn't really matter, but in terms of from a personal perspective, obviously not 100% ideal to miss pre-season under a new coach. But I mean, Palmer knows Maresca. We know Palmer's going to play. We know what Cucurella is about. We know he's probably going to be the first choice starting left back. Do you think it's a huge issue that those guys are missing the tour?
Not really. The professional players. I've seen a couple of videos of Palmer in the gym. He's already at it. He's working hard, trying to get in shape. So the professional players, they'll come back and they'll fit in nicely. I think, it's not ideal having them out for pre-season. You want them to be involved with the manager's kind of identity. But end of the day, they'll come in and fit in nicely. Like, they know the squad. Probably don't know. Obviously, Palmer knows the manager, but they'll come in and fit like that. It's not a problem for me. I think they come back, rest up. They'll probably have about 2 weeks before the season starts to come in, and it'll be fine. There's no problems there at all.
Yeah, I think it's all right as well. I don't think it's obviously you'd rather have them there, but I think in Cucurella's case, I think this is a big opportunity for Ben Chilwell. We know there's been some questions about his future. Chelsea could consider selling him if a decent offer came in. I don't know what they'd value Chilwell at in terms of a price. But he's got an opportunity through Cucurella's absence in this tour to really show that A, he can play the way Maresca wants, and B, that he's good enough to start in a Maresca system as the first choice left back. He's got a chance now. He's got a big chance here to stake his claim.
The only thing in Chilwell, the ability's there. Obviously, 3 years ago, one of the best left backs in the league. You don't lose that ability overnight. The only thing that lets him down is fitness. He's not fit,
Yeah.
And I've seen that there was a bleep test. Probably seen it on the Chelsea. He was
second. He was second to Gusto, I think.
Second, was he?
Yeah, he come second to Gusto. Yeah.
So there you go. Then he needs to prove his fitness. I think he can't go ahead with another season like the last two. Like, he played 3 games in a row, back out. You can't have it. I think give him a chance. But if it's the same again, we've got to get rid of him. Like, we need players that can. Okay, we've got a Europa Conference campaign coming up this year. It's important to have a bigger squad. You're going to be playing Thursday, Sunday, most months. So it's going to be, we need Cucurella and we need Chilwell. If that's not the case, we're going to have to shift Chilwell on and bring someone else in, because, like I said, we can't continue to have players injured like the last 2 seasons. We need a bigger squad. Yeah,
I think this is Chilwell's last chance for me in terms of, like, I don't think he goes this summer, by the way. I just don't see someone, I don't think he's desperate to leave, and I don't see someone coming in offering the money that Chelsea might be looking for. But this is definitely his last chance. If he can't stay fit, or he doesn't reach the levels that we need him to reach, then he will have to be moved on. We don't know if Vega's going to be part of the first team squad next season. He'll be assessed, and it will be decided whether a loan's going to be more beneficial or not. If Vega gets loaned out, then Chilwell 100% stays. But yeah, we'll wait and see. But I think either way, this Chilwell this coming season is playing for his Chelsea future. But I think it's as simple as that.
Yeah, he's got to prove his fitness, and he's got to stay fit.
Yeah, I think there's a number of players that have got to prove their fitness as well. It's not just him. There's many others. Reece James has got to prove his fitness. Lavia, Fofana. There's loads of them. But I think, look, if these guys can stay fit, and Chelsea have made it again another whole raft of changes within the medical department again. Let's see whether that makes a difference. And I guess we'll find out. A lot of people blamed Pochettino's training methods for the injuries. Let's see if we keep having the same amount of injuries this season, whether that was a legitimate excuse or not. I mean, funnily enough, the season before Poch was here, we actually had more injuries under Tuchel. than we did last season. So. I mean, look, it is what it is at this point. But yeah, we got to get on top of these injuries, and these players need to stay fit. As we touched on at the top of the show, you know, those 4 players coming back in terms of Fofana, Nkunku, James, and Lavia. That's almost like, I mean, Lavia and Fofana and Nkunku were almost new signings because they didn't play last season. And then having Reece James back is a massive plus. So obviously he's going to miss the first 3 games of the new season. But like that quality coming back into the team, that's serious match winners coming into the team. That's going to make a big difference. So I'm looking forward to seeing what these lads do.
Yeah, you seen the difference when James come back against Forest, and he got an assist straight away for Jackson's goal, and the quality from Jackson we needed. Gusto obviously had a brilliant season, but it's good to have depth. It's good to have both of them fighting for the position. Like I said, Europa Conference campaign coming up, you need players fit. So James can also play. I think Enzo likes say introverted right back, so he could probably play right DM and come inside. You got Gusto that can also play, and the right as well. So it'd be interesting to see where they all fit in. But listen, we've got to keep these players fit. They're going to be a massive part of us moving forward because, like I said, they're all very, very quality. These players are quality players. There's no doubt about it. But last season was absolutely a stinker. Coming back, getting injured, coming back, getting injured. All of them. So, like I said, the medical staff coming in, hopefully they can get this problem solved and we can move forward and keep these players fit. Because, like I said, if we keep these players fit, that's a massive boost for us. And potentially, like I said, we could hopefully finish 4th place just because we're keeping these players fit.
Yeah, no, I agree. We've got a squad that's more than good enough to finish in the top 4. We just need that. We just need that consistency, and we need that fitness from the players. And let's hope we can. Obviously, let's hope we can get that. I mean, there's going to be a few combinations we're going to start out. To be honest, mate, I think Maresca probably knows most of what his starting team will be. I think there's probably maybe 2-3 positions at most that might be up for grabs. I mean, if we go through it briefly now, I think we know that Sanchez will start the season in goal. Strongest team, Reece James will play at right back. The centre back pairing, I think, is. I mean, I'd go Colwell and Fofana, but I think that there's maybe a decision to be made there. I think we know Kukurea is going to be the left back. We know that Enzo and Caicedo will take 2 places in that 3-man midfield. And then maybe Dewsbury Hall potentially. I think we know that Palmer will start on the right side, probably in a 4-3-3, and Nkunku maybe plays on the left, and Jackson plays through the middle. I think realistically, we're looking at maybe there's 2 or 3 positions that are kind of up for grabs, but I think most of this team actually picks itself right now. But obviously, look, things have looked good in pre-season. You know, the feel around the place seems to be good. They seem to be liking the manager. He's obviously very hands-on, gets involved in the training. Looks like he's a bit of a tactician, a taskmaster. Some of the stuff looks quite creative. Players look like they're receptive to the training methods. But obviously, with Chelsea, we know that if there's too many good things going on, a bad thing must be around the corner. And we do need to touch on it. Obviously, Enzo Fernandez situation, which has caused big problems at the football club, and just once again highlighted an issue that we shouldn't have to be talking about in 2024. I'm sure everyone knows by now what went down. Obviously, the chanting of a racist song in the Argentina team bus after the Copa America win. Is obviously he's subsequently apologized. Chelsea have launched an internal discipline investigation into the scenario. He's apologized to his teammates as well. Obviously not face to face yet, I don't believe, or unless that's just not been reported yet. But he certainly privately apologized to them as well as his public apology. A lot of, there's a large black contingent of French players at Chelsea, understandably not happy with what's gone on. And there runs the risk, if this is not dealt with in the correct way, it runs the risk of creating a divide in the dressing room, which is probably the most united dressing room we've had at Chelsea in a long time. Even though over the last couple of years, the results have been not good on the pitch. One thing you can say is that this is actually a very likable group of players. And this incident right now runs the risk of potentially ruining that. I mean, Kev, what are your thoughts on it? Because Look, obviously unacceptable behaviour, but I don't think Enzo is inherently a racist person. I just think he's obviously made a massive mistake of judgment, and whatever punishment comes his way, he thoroughly deserves it. But it's just something we could absolutely do without, because it has got the potential to cause huge problems at the football club. But it also goes to show that, you know, racism in football is still a massive problem when it shouldn't be.
Very, very stupid for him to sing the song and video himself doing it and then put it on Instagram. I don't know if he had too much to drink or whatever he's done, but very, very stupid. Okay, I believe that he hasn't dealt with it in the right fashion. Okay, he's put a picture or something on Instagram, and basically everyone's unfollowed him. So there's definitely a divide in the change room. It's not good. I believe that he should have waited, finished his Copa America duties, come back to Cobham, kept his mouth shut, and sat everybody down and apologised face to face. And the players would have probably respected him a bit more. I believe the situation, obviously, you know, with the media, anything to do with Chelsea, they're going to make it a lot worse. Okay, me being a black man myself, it's just stupidness. It's just stupidness, isn't it? It's not. Racism's a very strong word. Like with John Terry, okay? A lot worse situation with John Terry when he called Enzo Fernandez the black C word. But did I believe Terry was a racist? No, okay? We all get angry. We all say bad things. We're all human beings. And like I said, if people have not said a racist thing, we're not human. You know, we've all been angry and said something that we don't want to say. And I believe the situation with Enzo, he's just won the Copa America. He's probably been drinking with the lads and he started singing, and he's never realised what he's done until it's been publicised. And obviously, he's going to get punishment for it. But I believe it should be dealt with internally. Whatever punishment he gets, I don't want Chelsea to publicise it. I think what he needs to do is get the players back on his side. When he gets back to Cobham, he needs to get the players back on his side. Obviously, Nicholas Jackson's put a post on supporting him. So there's going to be players that are supporting him. But the situation for me, I'm not really bothered about it. I just believe, yeah, he's done a bad thing, an awful thing, but don't make a big deal out of it. I think he goes, gets the team back on his side. He's obviously sang a bad song, but is he racist? No, he isn't. Okay, I just believe that he's made a mistake, and whatever punishment he gets, he takes it on the chin.
Yeah, look, I think, you know, that's kind of where we're at right now. I think there's clearly a wider cultural issue, particularly amongst Argentinians, where like
normal.
It's normal, and that's not an excuse, by the way. Like, that's not an excuse, but obviously, when you are from a different culture and a different background, and where maybe things are slightly more, they let those sort of things slide.
They think it's like
they think it's normal. Yeah, they think it's normal when obviously it's not. I just think basically what it comes down to is, like, he's made a stupid mistake, deserves whatever punishment comes his way. And there's just been a complete lack of awareness on his behalf. You know, when you've got a duty of responsibility when you're in that sort of a position with that many fans. You know full well that if you go live singing that, there's gonna be there's going to be a backlash, and you're going to cause a lot of problems. And he's got a lot of making up to do right now. And those lads in those French lads in the dressing room have got every right to deal with it in the way that they seem appropriate. If they didn't want to ever trust him or look at him in the same way again, then it's his own fault, and they're entirely right to feel that way.
But listen, like, I don't think that the lads are stupid enough. Like, okay, he's done a bad thing, but it's how he approaches the boys now. He's going to get them back on his side. Instagram post is not going to solve the issue. No. Being a man, speaking to him face to face, shake the hand, say, "Look, I'm sorry. I won the Copa America. We're all singing a song. I had a bit to drink, and I got involved." Look, Chelsea, when we sing the Tottenham song about the yids, whatever. Sorry to say that. We all get involved with it. We're not racist, but you follow. You know what I'm saying? He's trying to see what I'm trying to get to. So I believe it's just that situation what happened with him. He's stupid enough to record it. He's going to have to take the repercussions for it. Let's get the situation pushed under the carpet, and hopefully the players go back. Because I don't want Enzo to be pushed at the team. He's a brilliant player, but it's down to him now to obviously get the lads back on his side.
Yeah, and that's just that's going to take time, and it's going to take a lot of apologising for him. But I think
Yeah,
that first time when he comes back to the group,
awkward.
I think it's going to be very. I think it's going to be very awkward.
Yeah,
I mean, maybe hopefully he has done already. But if I was him, I would have been privately phoning up each player that I've offended and having a conversation on the phone with them before I return from my holidays. A message in like the Chelsea group or the Chelsea messaging service or whatever.
I mean,
That's not cutting it. It needs to be a phone call, and then it needs to be a face-to-face apology as well when he returns, and only then can the situation be dealt with and gradually moved on from.
and it has to be to the whole group. He has to literally get the staff,
Yeah,
all the players, white or black, whatever religion, whatever. Everybody, he needs to stand up and he needs to say what he needs to say. Apology, and guarantee the players will respect him more. But an Instagram post, this issue is not being resolved yet, and until
no,
he
it's not resolved. It's not resolved right now. But yeah, look, people sort of saying, "Oh, he should never play for Chelsea again," and all that. I think that's way too over the top. And whether you like it or not, Chelsea are going to protect their asset. If Enzo was an academy player or something, and he was like, they might have got rid of him. But unfortunately, when it's a big money asset, businesses are going to protect their assets. Whether that's right or wrong is a separate conversation. But there is an element of asset protection here. A
big fine. Just still with the situation behind closed doors. And when he's apologised, then make a statement to say, look, he's apologised. And then people like myself, like I'm not really looking into the situation too much because I understand what Enzo's done. I'm not stupid. I'm not naive. He just got involved with a chance, very silly chance. It makes no sense, but it's obviously it's a situation that he doesn't want to be in. But end of the day, until he comes out and he apologises to him, the situation is going to be in there. But any human being, we all make mistakes. I think obviously he needs to learn from the mistake and just move on and just become a better person. And hopefully, if we make a statement for giving them a big fine, he can then go to his Argentinian mate and say, look, he needs to educate his friends. He needs to be like, look, there's chance that we're doing this and that. We can't do it because I've got friends. Like that's what he should be doing. Hopefully, he learns from it and then educates other peers within that team, and then we can all move on. And hopefully, the Argentinian team can also see that what they're doing is unacceptable. But like I said, education's better than obviously killing the guy. If you know what I mean, just education.
Yeah, of course,
very important.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think just lastly on this, what also is annoying me is that he seems to be the only guy that's getting criticised for it when there's a bus full of them doing it, and yet no other players have been criticised. No other clubs have come out and said anything. It's literally they're throwing him under the bus, basically.
Yeah, but his face is the only person on the video. If you've got Messi, who's the other side of the bus, his face is not being seen. He can say, "I wasn't singing it."
Yeah, and that's what they're doing. They're basically not saying anything because all they'll say is, "Well, there's no evidence that my player is in the video taking part." You can't see everyone, but you know full well that there was loads of them in there doing it. But obviously, because you can't visibly see them in the video doing it, they're probably going to get away with it.
Yeah. End of the day, the whole Argentinian FA, the whole Argentinian team should get a massive fine from it. What the words they were saying, okay, I think it's very silly, but it's unacceptable. You've got to think Mbappe, how he feel knowing that they're singing about him and his family. Very, very bad, but it doesn't matter if they were seen or not. The whole Argentinian FA needs to be accountable for this. And if the what's it called, FIFA make a statement, give them a big fine, whatever, hopefully educates them and gives them a lesson not to do it again in the future.
No, absolutely. I mean, moving on from that, I mean, to sort of round out the last sort of 5 or so minutes, mate. What would you like to see happen between sort of now and obviously I know the season starts before the transfer window closes, but what business are you expecting Chelsea to do sort of between now and the end of the window? Look, we hear about a striker, we hear about a winger, potentially we hear about a goalkeeper, but I mean, how many signings do you think we're going to make, and what would you like to see happen?
Going back to what I said a bit ago, I would like to see quality. Get linked with a lot of good players like Nico Jackson. I wanted him from before the Euros. He's been absolutely phenomenal for Bilbao. His quality, he can run either side, both-footed. Like I want to see players of that ilk. If you're going to sign players, go for that caliber player. But I don't think it's going to happen, Charlie. I think we're just going to keep on signing these young players and developing them, and that's it. So not much expectations on the transfer front. But if we were to sign a player, it's going to have to be a number 9. Okay, give these Nkunku, Jackson, everyone else a chance to prove itself pre-season. If it doesn't work, we've got to go and get, because that's like I said, we've got Palmer's, GAs. If you get another player that's going to get you another 20, that is the difference between 6th and 4th. So it's important for us to go and get a quality striker. I'd like to see probably another centre midfielder. So if Gallagher goes, replace him with someone of quality. I like Shagaloglu from Inter Milan. I think we've been linked to him previously. He's a quality player, experienced player. This Tothingies that we signed, don't know anything about him, but he looks pretty good in the air. Scored a few banging headers. He scored against us last season, didn't he? I'm sure he did. Yeah, so he's good in the air. But experience is the key word. We haven't got experienced leadership in the team. So I'd like to say go and get some leadership, but it's not going to happen, Charlie. This is it. Like, the proof to us that this is the model now. There's no point. My expectations was going to get experienced manager, 4 players with experience, and we've done the total opposite. We've got inexperienced manager, inexperienced players. So we're just going to have to see what pre-season brings. But I think pre-season will show us where we're at. If it's not a good pre-season, I think to be fair to you, Enzo Maresca with his formulas and the way he approaches training, very good. So hopefully that can show on the field, and that will give me more encouragement to say, you know what, this season might be a good one. But until we've started kicking the balls, we can only just guess. It's a weird situation. Yeah.
Mate, I'll be honest, mate. I really don't know what. I don't really know what business we're going to do. Like, it's literally, normally you have like a bit of an idea about what players might come in. I've literally got no idea who might come in between now and the end of the window. I literally couldn't tell you. You know, you're linked with different players every day. There's no real strong links to one particular player. And I suspect what we'll do is one of maybe 2 things. There'll either be a complete surprise like Vega, where we just had no idea it was going to happen, or we'll end up signing a couple of players who no one really knows an awful lot about, which fit the way we're looking to play, which fit the model, and that'll be that. I really don't think, as much as they like to say, you know, that, we have not ruled out signing a top-level striker or top-level players. I just think the reality of one of those top-level players becoming available and then wanting to join us as well, I think is very slim. And so I think we're going to be in a situation where we are going to be looking at a situation where the players that were here last season, now a year more experienced, they're going to be the guys that they look to as the experienced ones for these other ones coming in. I just don't see a level of experience coming in. I'm not just saying sign experience for the sake of it, but you need to have you need the blend. And so right now we don't really have the blend. And I feel that what we're doing is we're just waiting for these guys to get a bit more time under their belts. And now they've got a season under their belts. They're going to be looked at as the more experienced ones to these younger ones coming in, when reality is they're still relatively inexperienced as well. So look, I think we've got the quality to finish in the top 4. I think we've got the personnel to do it as well. It's just, have we got the consistency, and do we have the know-how amongst the squad and the team to get over the line in tough moments? Because there are a number of games last season where we didn't have the know-how. If there was experience and know-how in that team, we don't draw the Sheffield United away. We don't draw Burnley at home, and we probably finish in the Champions League. That's the difference right now. Is not a lack of ability. It's a lack of know-how, and it's a lack of being able to see games out in big moments and know what to do when the pressure's on in a football match. Don't keep dropping deep, you know. And there's a number of times we've done that.
Reacting, and think about it. In the final, you got one of you. Who picked up Van Dijk for that corner?
Well, no one.
Willy Bolly, Nottingham Forest. There's so many different occasions last year where balls coming in back post, no one's looking over the shoulder and going inside. It's like, these are professional players. This is what you do. This is what I teach. I teach my kids at football. Like, just look over your shoulder and go inside. So obviously it's encouraging signs that we're bringing in the right medical staff to try and change the calamities of last season. We brought in a defensive coach, set player coach, to try and change things. So hopefully these stuff can help us, because it was blatant to see last year where it was going wrong. So I'm very enthusiastic about it. I think it's good that we're doing these things, but will they fall into play straight away? It's very hard to say that. But like I said, until the ball's kicked, we just don't know. We're all out the loop at the minute. So let's see what the preseason brings, and then we see more about where we're going to be next year.
Yeah, I think that's all we can do, is just wait and see what the preseason's got in store for us. But one thing we absolutely have to do is make sure that we start the season better than we did last season. I think last season we won 3 of our first 10 Premier League games. That can't wash again. We simply cannot be starting the season like that. We need to be hitting the ground running. I know it's easier said than done. We need to hit the ground running. We need to get on top of the situation, and we have to hope that the players are fit, the new signings settle in well, the lads adapt to what Maresca wants as quickly as possible, because 3 wins from 10, if we were to repeat that again, it's going to be a long season. That could be the difference between getting in the Champions League and not getting in the Champions League. Ultimately, there's a number of things that cost us Champions League last season. That start, not being able to see games out, and obviously the amount of injuries. So if we can just try and sort a couple of those issues out, then for me, there's no reason why we can't come in the top 4. United, we finished above them last season. They've still got a long way to go. Even though they're showing ambition in the window, they've still got a long way to go. You don't really know what Spurs are going to be like. You don't know how Villa are going to deal with the Champions League. You don't know what Newcastle are going to be like. Liverpool are going to be a complete unknown in their first year without Jurgen Klopp. Haven't done any business yet. The top 4 is absolutely there for the taking. If we can just put it together, it's there for us, but it's the putting it together which is the big question mark. I think we've got the ingredients and we've got the pieces. Can we put it together in the right way?
It's Maresca. It's all down to Maresca and how he's going to set us up, how he wants us to play. And like I said a bit ago, defensive errors cost us so much last year. Playing at the back was losing the ball. We can't continue to see these things next year, as it's just going to be the same old. So we will know straight away from the first few games. You'll see, oh, that's different. You'll start seeing a lot better defensive structure on set plays. That will give us the encouragement to be like, you know what, this is going to be a better season. But if we go into the Wrexham game and the Club America game and we're still seeing the same stuff, obviously they're not a very good team. So I think the City and Real Madrid game will be more of a test for us. If we're still seeing the same defensive errors, it's down to the manager. He's got to be able to get the team fired up. He's got the defensive set piece players got to be working with these players to work on reactions and the scanning and the move in the box and picking up players. The manager's obviously got to be very organised. He's got to got a board down and saying, you're picking up that man. Last season, it was nothing like that. We had players like, okay, I'm going to go back to the Nottingham game. Bolly, biggest player on the pitch, just literally walked in, headed the ball in. And this is, the manager should be saying, Thiago Silva, you're on Bolly. If the players know what they're doing on set plays, it's more organised. And throughout the season, we've seen the same stuff. So a lot of it is down to Pochettino. So Maresca, it needs to change it. Can he get it right? If we see more organisation on set plays, we'll have a better season. Simple as that.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. I think next season, I personally don't think we'll score as many goals as we did last season, but I think we'll concede a lot less. So I think we should be set to be a better team. Whether that translates to a higher league position, we'll have to wait and see. But I think there's stuff to look forward to. I think we can be cautiously optimistic. But there's some important weeks coming up now, not only in the market but on the pitch, the pre-season games, to see what this team potentially might be about. But Kev, thanks for your time, mate. Greatly appreciated. Guys, hope you enjoyed the episode. Make sure you leave your thoughts in the comments below. Make sure you smash the like, subscribe if you're new around here, all that good stuff. And we'll catch you again in another episode soon.